Edouard François. I'm an architect. I'm working, my office is in Paris, and I'm working in India, Sri Lanka, France, also Morocco, in different countries. So my work is focused about sustainability. Doing the first green tower of Paris. So it's a tower for biodiversity. So you have a lot of plants. So the building is going to have a green bump in Paris. So in the landscape it would look like another hill. So it's a very short impact. And the plants are wild plants that comes from a wild forest that has been took by students of a botanic school. And these plants, it's white seeds, and they are going to, by dissemination of the seeds, they are going to be regenerating the biodiversity. So this is a project that actually is in building in Paris. It's a new generation of tower that we experiment in India, that is in building in France. I think about the problematic of the tower. The problematic of the tower is the problematic of density, how to make a big density in a city because of the problem of déplacement, how do you call that, for reducing all the déplacement with pollution, etc. So factually, when you do a high-rise building, the value is on the top. And this is a problem. This is a big problem because it's not in the idea of building a high-rise building. So I want to do a building with all the value, same, first level and last level. And for that, I put the balcony on the top. So you have your balconies on the top of the building. And so you go by the elevator and you have your own balcony with a little private space, like a little living room, little toilet, little kitchen. So it is an extension of your flat, and this gives a value to the flat. And so as a Catholic architect, I could say the lowest flat will have the highest balcony, and the highest flat will have the lowest balcony. So all the value is the same. And with my client, that is La Cogédime in France, we arrived to this opinion that all the levels are equal. And I think this is interesting. And returning to the use, that for me is very important. You have some persons, they like to be not so high to have a contact with the street. We are in the idea that everybody likes to go on the top of the building, but it's not so exact. So this is the new building that we're doing. And the name of this generation of building is Green Cloud Buildings. I did by the past in 2000 a building whose name is L'Immeuble qui pousse. That is probably a building that is a precursor of green, and that was looked at this moment in 2000 like a sort of funny building, and now they look at like a sort of pioneer of a green architecture. It is a building that is in the limit of the city of Montpellier, facing a green area with a river Lez. And this building was in gabion. It's a sort of skin with a lot of holes, stones, and inside the stones you have some envelopes of seeds and ground, and with the watering the building is growing. So it's growing not only for growing, it's growing for to have this, it's like the deconstruction of the city. So in front it's a city that is getting a little bit more green, and after that it's trees. And it's also green because it protects the building from the sun. So it's probably the only building at a certain level of standard that doesn't need climatization because it's always fresh inside. So first, I had a very bad impression about the Biennale. I was very angry about that because it's not the Biennale of Venice this time. It's the Biennale of Culas, and Koulas is a very clever and cynical guy, and he takes all the elements that he's doing in Princeton, Harvard, and he exhibit that, and so these are the elements, and he asks a question that is fundamental, and so all the country answer with a lot of intellectualism, and he's answering with a staircase, with elevator, and so it's a very cynical position. So in a way, he could say to all the other pavilions, what did you expect? You know, fundamental is only a staircase for an architect and a handle. So this makes a big trouble in the Biennale, and I think the Biennale is probably one of the worst Biennale for the architect. He arrives to kill all the architects because there's no architecture and no architect here. It's a Biennale about past, and this is very curious. So this is the bad impression. I think this impression is shared by a lot of persons here. The positive things for me is after one day the trouble goes a little bit down, you know, and the quiet returns. And I know that the next issue is sustainability, not greenwashing, seriously sustainability that is going to change all the way to think about society, how to do agriculture, how to do travel, etc. Everything is going to change. The design is going to change. We're going to think about what is recycle, all this, the life cycle of the material, what is the context, etc. And what happens now in the Biennale? I was thinking because of this big crisis, the modernity will stop and we will pass. And it's not the case, factually. Regarding to the physical cycle, there's a cycle that is extremely interesting, is the hysteresis cycle. So it means that when you cut something in physics, there's energy that wants the thing to return. For example, if you have an electric cable, you cut it, you have a splash. So the splash is electricity that goes on the other side to maintain the system. Other example, a magnetic, if you want to stop the magnetism, you have to go to a magnetic negative, magnetic up, magnetic negative, like that, to arrive to zero. You cannot cut. You cannot cut a magnetism, you have to do that. And what is very positive is now we enter in modernity negative. That means we are now in the circle to go out of modernity, and this is very positive. Factually, when you see all the complaint that is in the older pavilion, it's a fact that we are entering in a modernity negative. So for me, the title of this Biennale could be Modernity Negative.